Hey, what's up everyone? My name is Pete Gioni and I'm the Executive Chef and Director of Food and Beverage for Canyon Ranch Spot and Fitness at the Venetian Resort in the very hot and sweaty Las Vegas, Nevada. Today I'm going to come to you with a plant-based recipe with egg frittata. Now you're probably thinking, how's an egg frittata plant-based? We've got this great product, it's just egg, it's made from a mung bean, so it doesn't come from chickens. And if you're thinking about some great cheese too. So now listen, I've been a chef for 26 years. For the past year, I personally have been plant-based. And if I say vegan, it seems like it has a lot more to do with a lot of political talk. However, the plant-based, my motivation is really for wellness, to feel healthy on the inside. So using some of these great ingredients, I've worked within my career for people with cancer, diabetes, I've helped them lose weight. I've done a lot of things in using and harnessing the great things that are out in nature and using that to fight disease and to help people feel better. And generally, I feel better and I love it. But using all these great ingredients and cheese and that sort of thing in my career, I had to find some substitutes. Now, working at Canyon Ranch, last January 2020, we launched the very first fully plant-based Truth and Tonic at the Venetian Resort. It's the only one on the Strip. The food culture has really changed. And if you think about what's happening with dining in Las Vegas, we're really thinking about ingredients that are better for you. Now, especially with COVID, how are we gonna improve our immune system? So let me walk you through some of the things that I've done over my career and some ingredients that I've used to help do that, to help promote wellness, to help us feel better because I feel great. So I'm gonna share those with you now. Now listen, I picked up these pans at the grocery store. So everything here you can find at your local grocery store. There's no tips, there's no tricks, there's no hard to find things. You can find all these ingredients locally, which is great. So if you're gonna cook for one, I've got this small little pan, and that's what I'm gonna use today. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna get that hot. Now, if you're cooking for more than one person, let's say you're cooking for 2 people, you can use your standard omelet pan. And if you're wondering what a frittata is a baked omelet for people that can't flip an omelet. So it's real simple. So we've got that pan too. Now, if you want to meal prep and you want to get ahead, you can use a muffin pan. And you can do these and fill them individually. Now I suggest putting the pan in the oven first to get it hot and then put your ingredients in it. And that's gonna, you could prep 12 at a time. What I'm going to use today is, we're going to make a tomato caprese. So I've got these great little tomatoes. They're very similar to the Kumamoto, the heirloom tomatoes. They're really rich in lycopene. Lycopene is great for your heart, it's a great anti-inflammatory, and it's got a lot of benefits to it, but it's trapped inside until you cook it, or you have to eat the tomatoes with a lot of fat, and that'll help your body absorb it. So we're going to cook these tomatoes. We're going to add some avocado. If you don't like avocado, we probably can't be friends, and it's okay. And I don't judge you until you say you don't like avocado. We're gonna use some onions because they're another great anti-inflammatory. They're great for fighting cancer. And when we talk about cancer, 1 in 2 men and 1 in 3 women are diagnosed with cancer in their lifetime, okay? So that's like 1.6 million people a year. So think about that, and think about how people always call me after the fact, after that life-changing diagnosis. This is meant, if you're healthy, to stay healthy. If you're not so healthy, let's get you healthy. Everybody has an individual journey. What makes your body better today is different from the guy next to you, or to your wife, or to your husband, or to your kids. We all react different from food, but if you start out with a great platform, then we have a better chance. So, we're gonna use some onions and anti-inflammatories, avocado. We're gonna make a little side salad. Now the other thing that I love to use is garlic. Garlic is really high in carbon. Carbon is great for fighting a lot of different diseases. It's great for boosting our immune system. And when I take a clove of garlic, I usually just pinch it in my fingers. And we wanna slice it and dice it. But just like the trick to cook the tomatoes, we wanna slice, dice, or chop your garlic and let it sit for at least 10 minutes. So I'm gonna kind of rush through that part so you don't have to sit and watch the garlic sit there. So you slice it, dice it, chop it. Our tomatoes we're gonna slice. We're gonna bake that with the egg. We're gonna cook our onions a little bit. Now, with an onion, I left the root on so it stays together. Keep it together. Now, how do you get the onions so you don't cry? Some people put a slice of bread in their mouth. Some people wear those funny goggles. There's a lot of tricks. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. For me, the only thing I've learned is to have a really sharp knife. And when your knife starts to go crap, you can either sharpen it, take it somewhere to have it sharpened, throw it away, or get a new one. So we're gonna dice this a little bit. So it's gonna be about a quarter onion. Here we go. We got a nice little square dice. So our pan is hot. Now I've got a little non-stick canola oil, and I find that this works best with just a little bit of oil before we bake it in the oven. We're gonna hear a nice sizzle. If you don't hear a sizzle when you're sauteing, start over. So we're gonna cook those a little bit. Add all your ingredients right in the pan. Now notice that I haven't put the garlic in yet. The pan is so hot, if we put the garlic in too soon, these other vegetables are bigger. It's probably gonna burn the garlic. It's gonna make your house smell funny. All right. So now, as that starts to cook, we're gonna season with a little bit of salt. And salt and pepper, they kind of almost go without saying. Seasoning your food to me is automatic. When I explain a recipe to somebody, your taste is different than my taste. So when we talk about how many ingredients that we're using, the way that I feel is that, consider being in a room full of your favorite friends and family. And if you're surrounded with good people that you love, chances are you're not going to have a bad conversation. Some conversations might be a little weird, like Uncle Ed. Some conversations might take longer because you really like to talk to that person. Some are a little bit shorter, but they're all good, right? So if you surround yourself with good ingredients, it doesn't really matter how much or how little you use because they're all good, they're all better for you. And you just take away all those ingredients that are really bringing down your health. So just using that, keep in mind that salt enhances the flavor and pepper is really great. So now this Just Egg product is made from mung beans. So it's an isolated bean protein and it's add a little bit of water, but they also have turmeric. Turmeric is like that great superfood that everybody's talking about. It's another thing that's really hard for our body to absorb. So my third tip is to mix it with a little bit of black pepper. So you can put this egg in. We're going to add the black pepper that already has the turmeric inside. And when you add black pepper to a pinch of turmeric, it's going to make it 2,000 times more absorbable by your body. So if you didn't have that, you're basically just going to flush it out without getting those benefits. So I'll add a little bit of the black pepper. Our tomatoes are starting to cook, starting to release that lycopene. We've got our garlic that's set. It's got all that nice carb that's developing. It's going to be a great anti-inflammatory. And then we're going to take a quarter of our avocado, peel the skin off. For those of you that work in the kitchen, you know that if you leave the sticker on the avocado, the health department's going to get you for it. So don't forget to remove your stickers. It's part of the washing process. Heard that a million times. All right. So that's going to go in the oven. And we're going to let that bake. So my oven's set at about 400 degrees. I've got another one ready to go. I've got a little bit of mozzarella cheese on top from our good friends at Good Planet. And we're going to make a little side salad to go with this. So I've got a little Persian cucumber. I love these guys. They're so fresh, so crisp. And this way you have some cooked ingredients on the plate and you got a nice, raw, fresh crunch. And I know when I said plant-based in the beginning or vegan, people are like, ooh, I can't go without meat. I can't go without eggs. But I bet you, I said that once too, and I can. And it's easy, and I enjoy it. And this food isn't designed for just people that are vegan. It's for people that just enjoy food. They enjoy fresh ingredients, grown by nature, with all those great healing properties that are out there. And when you follow my recipes, all this stuff is built in already. You don't have to know that the tomatoes are great for you. You don't have to know that the garlic is in there. Just use it, enjoy it, and if you don't like tomatoes, use less. If you don't like basil, okay, use less. There's other things you could use instead. Some fresh oregano, some fresh thyme, some parsley. But for this caprese, we're definitely gonna add some basil. So this is Italian sweet basil. If you can grow it yourself, you'll be supplied for months. It grows like crazy, it's sturdy. You can put it on your counter in the kitchen. You can get the little plants at the store. They're all great. Okay. So now we're using up a little bit of our extra tomatoes. We're gonna catch the one that ran away. Didn't really have legs on them. So we've got the fresh flavors of the tomatoes. We've got the cooked tomatoes in combination with it. And we can enjoy all of these. And then we're going to add a little bit of balsamic vinegar. So the more aged, the more water evaporates from it, the denser the flavor, the less acidic they tend to be. But anything really from the store, especially organic ones, will be very clean flavor. And you only need a little bit. So we're going to add about a tablespoon or so of balsamic. And if you want to increase the amount of fat, you can either add more avocado or you can add avocado oil. Now this stuff is so good that I end up just drinking a shot of it. It's really great for the organs to have that nice rich fat. And then lastly, our salt and pepper. So I guess that wasn't lastly, because we're going to add a little bit of Parmesan cheese to this too. We're really going to bring out those Italian flavors. Now you'd be surprised at how this really replicates cheese made with dairy. And with my experience, I've tried all of these different cheese brands. This is the one I've settled on. This is the one I love. Not to say that it's only a good one out there, but it really is amazing how it works just like regular cheese. And for a lot of people that are plant-based, or like me, that grew up eating meat, eating cheese, drinking dairy, to find something that replaces that, I think that this is really a great substitute for it. Okay. So let's plate this up. And we're going to make a nice little circle around the plate. And you can see all these fresh ingredients. You'll see the little bit of oil running off. You'll see the cucumbers. See the Parmesan cheese, the color, the crunch, the refreshing aftertaste is all right here, provided by our good farmers. And then we're going to take our frittata. You can see we've got our tomatoes. We've got our cheese,